Hey everybody, Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project, and today I'm going to make a batch of old-fashioned homemade style soap. Well, somewhat old-fashioned. Instead of running water through wood ash, I've got pre-made lye, and this is the Robic brand, which is famous with soap makers. They claim it is food grade lye, 100% lye. Now it's used as drain opener because it's caustic, but it is 100% lye. A lot of people talk about that a lot. Anyway, we are going to use vegetable oil, and I am going to cook this the hot process method on the wood stove using free energy. So let's proceed. And here on our wood stove in our tiny house, you can see we use it for a lot. It's a big wood stove. We've got water heating at all times for dishwashing, bathing, and any other water needs. We have, if you haven't seen it, you can check out, we have a shower that's run by the sun, the power of the sun, and we use the hot water heated on the wood stove. This is 3 gallons, and when it's hot, you can mix it 50-50 and have a really decent shower. We love it. Water for humidifying the air with the 2 open pots. That gives us enough humidity. And my preheating pan, my cast iron pot that I use for making soap. This is the old-fashioned part, is where I use the wood stove as a heat source to make our soap. And that's what they used back in the day. They used mostly cast iron cookware, and they used wood heat to cook down their soap. So I've got a whole 48 ounces of vegetable oil I'm going to pour in here. It's going to be a large batch. It's going to be a triple batch. And instead of measuring into a measuring cup and making it dirty, I'm just going to pour my oil, directly into the pot here, all of it. So this is a triple batch. Each batch is 16 ounces, which will give you about 5 bars of soap. And I'm making a triple batch, which should give me 15 bars of soap. And now this is going to preheat while I go mix the lye and water, which then I'll bring and mix into here. So let's go back over to the table. Now, the return mailing envelope is a perfect container for putting the lye into. I'm going to rip this in half so it's easier to work with. And then you have a little pocket to measure your lye out into. Now this has to be done sort of quickly once you get to this point. So I'm just preparing an envelope that we'll put on here, and then next I'm going to pour the water into here. So since we have a triple batch, it's going to be 24 ounces of water. So I'm going to go get the water in here. Now, I put this in a coaster because it gets hot. Use a Pyrex glass container for your water, your lye and water mix. And now I'm going to measure, I'm going to put 5.5 ounces. It's generally 2 ounces for every batch, for every 12 ounces of oil that we make. So I'm not sure how well this is going to show on my camera, but I'm just going to try to get this in here. I try to work fast because the lye absorbs water from the air in a very rapid manner. So I just am really quickly trying to get this in there. A couple grains isn't going to hurt a thing if you spill on a table. Just be careful you wipe it off safely. There's about 4 ounces. So I'm going to pour that in to the water here, and then I'll measure another 2 ounces so I don't have any overflow. Now again, it's already collecting moisture. I don't know if you can see that. It's sticking to the paper. It's very, very quick. Stir the lye into the water and not the other way around. Pour slowly. Try to avoid any spills, splashes. It's going to get hot, so be careful that you use the glass, the Pyrex, and put it on a something like my wood coffee coaster. To keep the heat off your table or your work surface. Now, as I stir this in, I want to say something here. I have never done what I'm about to do, the hot process soap making method, on the wood stove, cooked in its entirety, in a Dutch oven. I think that I have done, if I remember, I may have once done the cold process on top of a wood stove. But I don't remember ever doing the hot process method on top of a wood stove. So I'm going to cook it down until it's ready to be used, until it's entirely, completely used up on the wood stove. Now I'm going to finish measuring out the rest of the lye and add it into here, and we'll be back. Okay, now I've got the lid on here. This is pretty warm. The wood stove is at a mild temperature, so it's not going to be very hot. And I think that's perfect in this case, at this time of year where it's early in the season. I think it's perfect for making soap on a wood stove, because we don't want a really hot temperature. So I'm going to try to carefully do this without spilling any. We don't want any splash or spills. And get that mixture in there. Stir it in as you go. Pour a little, stir a little. I use a silicone spatula, which has the advantage of being heat resistant and is not harmed by the lye and water. And the spatula prevents splashes. As you notice, I put it into the oil and pour onto the spatula, and that prevents any splashes. And I'm holding the jar over the Pyrex measuring container over the top of it here as we go. So I'm just stirring in, pouring in here. Now, using a wood stove is an imperfect method because we don't know, we can't precisely control the temperature. So this is going to be a curious experiment. But the old days, the old timers, they didn't have a very perfect setup either. They didn't have precise ways to control the temperature when they were making soap. So just like I'm doing now, this is closer to the old-fashioned method. I'm just using modern ingredients. The old-timers would have used animal fat, rendered animal fat, because that's what was available to them at the time. And they would have done it over the wood stove like this with the lye water, as I said previously, made by pouring water through wood ash, which gives you lye. Lye is a naturally occurring substance. So the original old-timer recipe was rendered animal fat and water and wood ash. The lye made from the wood ash. So there you go. Now I'm going to stir this from time to time, and I'll probably get the stick blender and blend it until I hit what's called trace. If you're not familiar with that really yet, go ahead and check out some of my old videos on how to make soap, my very simple basic recipe. I'll have the link in the description and in the comments below so you can check that out. Be back in a while, guys. Hey guys, it's been a couple hours and it's thickening. I'm just stirring it occasionally. I'm not putting a lot of effort into it. It's been 2.5 hours, I think it is now. And we're just going to keep the lid on there and let it keep cooking. I just stir it vigorously every once in a while and that's it. Hey guys, we have like an applesauce look to the soap. And I haven't done anything since I last recorded. I actually had left it, and it's now 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's now looking pretty thick. So we're just going to let this continue to bake, or cook I should say, on the stove until it is fully finished processing. And this is pretty cool because I'm using free energy to make soap. The wood stove is already there, and we just use that for all of our needs here in our nearly off-grid tiny house. Pretty cool stuff, huh? And then a side effect is sort of funny. Because I'm using cast iron, some iron oxide is going to get into the soap and give it a brown color. Some people buy iron oxide or different oxides of metals to give you a natural color to your soap. And here it's just a bonus. It's a free bonus from making soap in a cast iron pan. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, we'll be back in a while. I'm going to keep letting it cook with the lid on and just see when it's finished. Alright guys, the soap has hit what's called a gel stage, and it's a clear liquidy phase now. Okay? So it's now, after the gel stage, now we cook it and it's going to turn whiter again. Alright? And I don't even have to stir it. I'm just doing this for show for the camera and because it's fun. Now what we do is we cover it again and we leave it until all the lye is cooked off and it's converted into soap. Okay, so that's the gel stage. It becomes clear. Now as I stir it, it starts to lose its clear color. But that's it. There's the gel stage. Now I'm just going to put the cover on and we're going to leave that until this passes what's called the zap test, at which point when you touch it to your tongue, it doesn't zap you anymore like a 9-volt battery, which means then all the lye is used up. So we'll be back in a while. Alright guys, I've been outside taking care of a deer that I had to process, and this is definitely ready to go. Very, very thick stuff. So I'm going to bring my molds over here and I'm going to scoop this from the pan into the molds because this is going to be hot and hard for me to work with otherwise. That is ready to go. I got my mold here. That's going to be awkward to show on camera. I'm going to do my best. Oh yeah, that's really good. Good stuff. This is the easiest way for me to do this right here. It's definitely ready to go. Is that showing up alright? Yeah, I think so. Hope my hand's not totally in the way. This is really good. I'm going to fill it right up. While I'm getting to the bottom, I got to give that a stir. Let me try to get some more of the. Sometimes it separates just a little bit near the bottom where all the heat is. That's going to be a darker bar of soap because of the iron oxide in there, which is perfectly fine. Gives us some color to our soap. Now I'm sort of working it a little bit like that to make sure that all the soap, there's no bubbles, I mean, in a soap mold. It's a jelly-like substance now. Okay. Now there's one batch ready to go. I'm going to set it on the table and get my other form. Now this one here I'm going to pour, so I'm going to do this off camera. I'm going to pick this up with hot pads and have my wife help me pour that into this mold. So we'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, there's a full batch. That's a 2-pound batch. And there's a 1-pound batch. It's all I could fit in my Dutch oven at one time. So that'll make 10 bars there. And that'll make about 5 bars. Now, this here is the good stuff. This will be the proper soap shape, neatly cut, and that'll be for giving away. We're not selling anything yet. We're just giving away, sort of like teasers. And that's going to be for our own home use. So I'll cut them up into larger chunks. And it'll be our own personal use for showering and laundry. There you go, guys. Hot process soap, ready to use tomorrow after this is cooled down and cured. Made on the wood stove. 0 energy used, except for what we were using to heat the house already. I love it. That's like using free energy, guys. Alright, everybody. Thanks for watching. Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. Make sure you check the article down below. I'll have it in the video description and in the comments. Check out the article and read all the details. See you later.